there must be a little bit of added pressure because he's just like put together this new program, and like I'm sure they're stoked because like Jack's probably like the biggest influence on all things enduro just because of his like the content he puts out. Because if people can't watch it live, where do you go to get anything on enduro? You go you go Moi Moi TV.
Well, it's crazy to think, even like I find it funny even with like this or like BK's vlogs or stuff like that, you see all the comments and people are like between like you, Wyn, BK, even this stuff, Jack, it's like they get more information about what's happening than
the people than the actual event.
The actual event, and that's what we're saying, like you need to build stories around people. Like why isn't this happening? Like why, like obviously this is good for us because it promotes us and whatever we're doing, but like this should be something that they're doing as well. And I know they do it, but not to, I don't think, the level that they could.
No.
And you just like, you need to be able to have access to the riders, because if you know, the way I talk to someone who knocks on my door and I've never met them before is completely different to when Wax rolls into the kitchen and you're like, you know, you have like a different dynamic. So I think there's a bit of like tactic on who they get to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
you can't just get someone new and just keep rolling them out. Like you've got to let someone like build up a relationship with the riders, and then you get the actual
who they are.
Yeah, who they are, because that's what people want. They just crave to know someone's personality and stuff. They
want to be like feel close to a person and like actually be the riders be people, not just riders.
Well, that's what kind of shocked me about when you see Jack's vlogs and BK's vlogs, and I guess I watch them and I'm not that interested because I know them so well, but to someone else who doesn't know them, that's their way of like, and you guys as well, because you're obviously in them, they're like, they feel part of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you could see it when Bernie's vlogs were like growing. Oh, it's just like the change in like the dynamics of fans to Bernie.
Yeah.
It went from like people being fans like of Bernie to people feeling like they know Bernie.
Yeah, it's like fans to friends.
Yeah, like one-sided at times, I guess. But like, it's just like it changes the dynamic because these people get a whole new insight into you as a person, or like BK or whoever's doing the vlog, and it creates like a, I don't know, a new layer.
It's kind of, it's funny as well because they know you so well, and they come in like your friend, and they know shit that you've forgotten about, and you're just like, oh fuck, you do know me. So like, it's a weird.
They've literally been watching you for years, probably.
And
like seeing your day-to-day life for like years.
Do you find it weird? Because obviously you put out a heap of stuff on the internet about who you are and what you do, but then when people come up to you and they're like, they know it, it almost seems weird, kind of. Does it almost like take a second to, not weird, but like, it's like, oh shit, you did watch that, or you do know that, or you do listen to this.
But before I started racing, I was such like a nerd as well, and I would like watch everything.
You knew everything,
So it's just kind of like you can see, because I would read like Dirt magazine front to back, like always on Pink Bike, always like just like nerding out. So I can definitely see.
Can relate.
You can kind of relate. And now, like when you're involved in the scene, you're like not doing it as not going as deep. But then I just find myself doing it in other sports that I follow.
Just translate.